Alright, Doug Rogers here with another game. I haven't been posting in a while because I've been playing instead of casting games. And I made a discovery that I'm kind of sick of pillars, and it seems like a lot of other people are sick of pillars too. So, what I've started doing and what I will now be casting is hosting games on workshop maps that aren't pillars. Yay, what an idea! Since for some reason a lot of the people who host games only host on pillars, but everyone at the same time is complaining that they're tired of pillars. I don't know what that's about. It's weird. Anyways, here's our map. It's Bulwark. There's a big bulwark stone wall in the middle with a few thin passageways through it. It's a knife fighty map, although if you can push onto the opponent's side of the arena, there's a lot of room for maneuvers around these smaller asteroids and fighting over these other points out in space, Delta and Echo. I think it's a really good map. It definitely favors closer range builds and missiles, things that can make effective use of all the cover that is here. There are a lot of obfuscated sightlines. I would not bring rails or mass drivers here. And yeah, everyone's deploying. Let's get into the match. We, of course, have someone with an ANS tag on OSP. I think we have two someones with ANS tags on OSP, which is makes me chuckle on the lobby screen. Blue team, we have, oh boy, we have a Solomon with rails. Okay, so this is probably the absolute worst build for this map. We'll see what this guy does with it, though. Good luck, buddy. Got a pair of voxels. Oh my. Yeah, voxels with Type 3 missile launchers. 3 Type 3 missile launchers. That's going to be dangerous. We have a little fleet of Rains over here. With Type 2 missile launchers. Oh boy. The people have noticed that this is good for missiles. And then standard gun voxel. Some beam destroyers, crazy amount of PD, and a very dedicated Evo Reigns. Alright, that's the ANS fleet. Gunocello. Okay, so we have a guy who is pretending to be the ANS on the OSP team. Another Gunocello. Oh my, a 450, 250 combination line ship. This thing is mean if you can use it well. But they're very hard to use well because you have to have the correct side pointing at the correct targets. That takes a lot of micro. We've got the ubiquitous bullseye tug. Or a bloodhound tug. Oh hey, a container ship who's already firing. Just spamming out decoys. Yeah, these are all decoys. Oh boy. Okay, well that's interesting. We'll see. That could be really strong if they can eat a bunch of missiles. We'll see how that goes later on in the fight. Who? Oh my. This man has a container ship and a couple of scouts. That's quite a build. Containers eat up so many points. He's mostly managed to fill it out. I don't know what he's got on this thing. I can just check, actually. That doesn't tell me that much. That's a lot of decoys. That is a lot of decoys. So that's part of it. But still managed to get a lot of weapon containers as well. This guy is... I don't know. I'm worried about this. This guy's got a really mean build. I like it. Got the plasma T-30 monitor team. Okay. Nothing too outlandish. Oh, not anymore. I think the most outlandish thing well, maybe not outlandish, but most interesting things to keep an eye on this match are going to be this container ship and this rail battleship. Because both of these things could be devastating, or they might wind up being useless. And I don't see it going any other way for either of them. They're either going to... Each of them is either going to absolutely dominate or not do anything at all. Maps busting up, getting split nicely down the middle. OSP team's a little faster on the caps than the ANS team, which isn't too surprising. They're just have faster ships. Yeah, here's a shuttle. It's probably got a sun drive on it. No, just a standard drive. Still fast, though. Especially if you keep your fleets locked in hard formation, they will get in each other's way and won't accelerate as fast as they possibly could. So that's a good way to kneecap your fleets. Don't do that unless you're real confident in that formation. Okay, we have the decoy eating some rounds already. Not a big deal, it's just some RPF. Those are dime a dozen. It's actually the wall that is eating those rounds, so I'm not sure why that is. Ah, it's firing at the missiles, actually. Which, I don't think you're going to be doing anything with the insane PD net this guy has. Just a couple scouting missiles. Oh, I see. That's what he gave up. He didn't give up points on containers. This guy gave up points on missile programming buses and point defense. Oh my goodness. Completely naked. No point defense. Someone gets a few missiles in there. That thing is done. So programming speed and programming channels are very expensive, but I think extremely important on container ships. And that's what he's given up to have all these containers and shuttles. Bold. Bravo's taken. Charlie's taken. Oh boy, here comes the first big missile volley out of the ANS. Type 2s. I don't know if these are default Gales or if this guy has messed with them. Since you can't. Yeah, there's no way to get a breakdown of missiles, which is unfortunate. Some AMMs coming out of the USP team. Also lots of grape shot coming out of these Ocellos. Or, it's not the Ocellos that are firing them. Yeah, okay, it's the little ships. It's going to be buried in its entirety, but there are a lot of AMMs spent that probably didn't need to be. It's a bit of advice for those of you who want to try and get more out of your AMMs is keep them on manual in the early part of the battle, depending on your sight lines. You can prioritize things to have your AMMs fire at them, but oftentimes probing missiles are what gets fired early on, and your gunnery point defense can handle that. Like these T-30s with the grape shot absolutely would have been able to handle that without, especially with the Ocellos with presumably actual PD, yeah, a bunch of Auroras backing them up, can handle that without expending the AMMs, because usually point defense ammunition is a whole hell of a lot more plentiful than anti-missiles. Not sure where this guy's gonna be going with that. He's trying to just wait for someone else to come through, if he's planning on going through himself. This Voxel, owned by Cuban Bowl, has not stopped burning towards the OSP side of the map. I have a feeling there's going to be some conflicts around this line up here between Bravo and Charlie. Another pack of containers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Yeah, sacrificed a lot for being able to carry that much, but this is not enough to get through the PD. Even with the shorter range. that this is gonna afford him. That's, what is it, like a click, maybe? Yeah, it's not enough. It's a pretty solid PD net there. No AMMs needed. Just defenders and stone walls. Yeah, it's a stone wall. And death to missiles is what that is. Pretty slow game. Looks like the shuttle that tried to take Alpha just got gunned down. This voxel team. Is the gun voxels? Yeah. No. It's the missile and gun voxels. Still haven't seen very many of those missiles fired. The last group that fired missiles were these guys, I believe. Yeah. Size 2s. Another volley going out. I don't think that's going to do anything more. Well, with these Ocellos being pushed up. Nah, this cruise is right next to him. Yeah, huge waste of AMMs. Some of them going into the rock face. I mean, I understand wanting to have your MMMs fire always, because if you get surprised by missiles and you could have done something about them and they hit, it feels just awful. But I think there's such a strong force here that fewer AMMs is the play. That's really the beauty of Nebulous, is that there are so many options for dealing with any given problem. Because even now that the AMMs are out, the point defense are handling it just fine, and the rest of them have slammed into the rocks. It's not looking good for this pack of Rains down here. I don't think they have any guns. Or any direct fire guns, I should say. No, it's all defenders and missile launchers. So if this group of T-30s gets up on them, it will completely devour them. How far away? Well, spectators need a ruler tool. Would be really nice. I made that recommendation. I don't know if it got any sort of attention, or if anyone else is doing this enough for it to matter. I know High Score will sometimes spectate for fight night. These containers are... they might just hit if they can figure out where the enemy is. Are these just the biggest brain maneuvers I've ever seen? What is going on? Oh, there they are! Nope. Oh, man. This is, what's happening? Are these over here just to be point defense distractions? Unfortunately, it's not working all that well. I mean, the rockets are getting through. Man, the rockets are getting through. I've generally been pretty disappointed in rocket containers, but I'm glad to see that this dude knows how to make them work. Yeah, I guess that's exactly what he's doing with these, is just being a VD distraction. Now, this thing is heavily damaged. You know, it's not dead, but it is... it's not going to be going anywhere fast. And it is ripe for a follow-up, which looks like it's being launched right now. Tax collectors are coming for you, man. That's never good. Alright, we'll go back to these when they get closer to target. What's going on over here? Looks like more missiles have been fired at this team and haven't hit. I think maybe 1 or 2 got through here. But in general, the AMMs, well, they're out of AMMs. The T-30s seem to be doing a lot of work. This solo escort is helping for sure as well. What is going on down here? These are just flying straight in. That RPF is doing work is what's going on down here. AMMs or not.
I'm not really sure what just happened right there. Okay, maybe they thought it was feeding intel to this guy, so they blew it up. I don't know. Oh no. Looks like these things are locking on to the dead husk out here. Doesn't matter. Not enough damage to damage the point defense network on this. Very impressive. Even though the reactors beat up, the Auroras and the defenders are firing at full strength. Or so it appears. Another big missile strike coming out of the A&S team. Keep direct firing, which is just not the way. Yeah, slamming into walls, huge problem. It's the issue with direct fire missiles. Why I can't get enough of cruise missiles. You can snake them around rocks, get them in behind people, just ruin someone's day by completely skipping their point defense network. Voxels on Alpha are getting hammered by this monitor team. That is so much plasma going down there. Couple get through the point defense. And that rail guy is hidden as well. Overwatch. Oh, that's good for a rail guy. It's a good name. Not very many get through, but enough to deal some damage. This fleet pushing in is gonna push these guys forward. Now, if these teams can coordinate their missile strikes, they're not. But hybrids, depending on how fast the sprinter stages are, could get through that point defense network. Couple of Auroras, 4 Auroras. I don't think that's going to be enough for this many hybrids fired at once. It might be. No, there's one. There's 2. And the guns are following up as well. And then one ran into a monitor. Which is not really what you want to be spending your hybrids on. But that's okay. Damage is damage. Oh, man. His reactor block is not looking good. Supporting fire from the railguns. These guys thought they were doing a flank on the voxels, but it turns out they were flanking themselves. This salient right here is just getting hammered on all sides. And if the point defense cannons get damaged enough, those size 2 missiles will get through. Looks like there's not that much damage on the PD. And there's no rocks in the way for these direct fire missiles to slam into this time. No, they don't look direct fire. It seemed like they went over that set of rocks, so I'm not sure what this guy's doing. Maybe they're command fired. Thought it'd still be direct though. That is a lot of point defense. Yeah, and still not enough. These voxels are in a bad position, but their flankers are also in a bad position. Everyone's having a bad time on this match. It's great. War is an absolute mess, and Space War is even messier. Ooh, the rockets get through, but they miss. It's unfortunate. And this team is going over here to handle this container ship that's been a mild menace to this Alpha group. Maybe going towards Echo, but I doubt it. Because if they can get over here and blow this container man up, is big screwed. Because he has nothing to fight back with. Except for slow programmed containers that don't fire in volleys of 10. 4, 5, 6, 7. Still, that's still a strong volley. Just nowhere near as good as it could be. I think he sees his the troublemakers. Oh boy, that line ship's finally getting into the fight. It's just been sort of floating around back here. Wonder if it's got an electricity drive on it, and that's why it's moving so slowly. Let's take a look. A sun drive and a yard drive on a line ship. That's an interesting combination. So yeah, it should be able to get into combat just fine. But it's just been hanging and might be getting cut to shreds by beamstones. No hits on those missiles. OSP's having a bad time. A significantly worse time than the ANS team is. And he's just going to stick it through this very slow reload, trying to turn the ship. But yeah, it's not quick enough. That's the problem with doing this sort of thing. Drives are out. The reactor is out. Where's the reactor? There is no reactor. It's 2 drives. Got it. And then a couple light reactors, which have been destroyed. It's very, very risky build. If you're going to build a brawler or a line ship, and it's meant to fight things directly, you might want to go something a little tankier. That was clever, though. I think that's got a lot of potential if you're mobile with it and have it moving around on the fields a lot. Like if he was using these asteroids for cover with 2 drives, a yard drive and a sun drive, he could just flank almost non-stop and do crazy maneuvers and just jack with people. Uh-oh. My PC might not be able to handle all these teams and OBS running at the same time on this map with all the space dust. What is going on over here? Ah, this is why. This is what's ruining everything, is a whole lot of missiles. What is this? What is going on? No one runs well, and 70%. No one runs well when there are a whole lot of missiles on the field. So he's again trying to use these as a distraction, which I think is really clever, but it's just not working. It seems like PD is smart enough to not prioritize missiles that don't have anything targeted, or maybe those are just out of range. I'm not sure. I think this has a lot of potential to be clever, but it's just not working. Not the way he needs it. Maybe since they fixed the PD after the update and little hot fix at the end of the first week, maybe he hasn't accounted for that. Because I could see this absolutely overwhelming point defenses back when they were bugged, and too many targets would cause some sort of overflow error. So I was getting banged, and it doesn't really work now, unfortunately. The last Shogun, that's the voxel guy. Oh, these got tanked when we weren't paying attention. Well, I wasn't paying attention. Presumably by this team, based on all the plasma burns and the explosions. Yeah, it has to be this team that came back around. I'm surprised these guys have performed so well. This team over here is probably out of missiles, basically. So that's why they stopped being flanked. Still have the railgun hammering, but now he's in trouble. Because rails don't do really any damage on their own. They're debuff. This is a support ship. But sacrificing all the points you have to sacrifice to get a Solomon to this scale is maybe not worth it. I don't know. He coulda. Teamwork is so important, because if you coordinate this thing with your buddies, like if the Voxels and the Solomon pushed at the same time, or were firing at the same time on the same target, it could have really done a lot of damage. And pick the Ocellas off, and then pick the monitors off. But that is not what happened. Just in general, there doesn't seem to be much teamwork from anyone except for these 2 guys that are pushing together. This is such a lovely pattern. Hello and welcome to my Rocket Smoke art stream, where we will be exploring the mysteries of the universe using extremely lethal explosive weaponry and its toxic fumes. Yay! Yeah, this thing's toast. Also got this Rose Soul, the Ocello, that's been parked up here. Just sort of hanging out, getting shot at. Yeah, it's pretty much dead. I think that's one of the biggest problems with the Ocello is that its drive block is so easy to hit. And you gotta put the drive and the reactor back there, and if that happens, you're in big trouble. I know the pain of trying to drive an Ocello into combat and then having your drive block shot out, and it's like, well, I guess I'm staying here now. It's very, very unpleasant. Very unpleasant if you're the player. Very satisfying if you're the murderer. Okay, this Keystone's getting blasted. These beams, unfortunately, didn't do that much. I mean, they helped kill the this Abject Terror, the line ship back here. But they haven't been really used directly on anything else. He's not going after the container ship, which surprises me. The container ship's probably going to get off most of its containers. Although, I mean, maybe the reason he's not going after the container ship is the container ship hasn't done that much. Because he's got these things to exploit a bug that doesn't exist in the game anymore and hasn't for several days. At least that's my guess for what they are. It's so weird. There's some rocking containers going into an already dead ship. It's anyone's game at this point. As previously stated, it's kind of even. Oh, this guy just full ejected his fleet. Didn't even try to go in and soak shots or be a distraction. Just decided, I have no missiles. I'm out of here. My work here is done. Yeah, quit the team. Left the game. Unfortunate. That's kind of a jerk thing to do. So I take it back. It's probably going to be the OSP taking the W. Because the only combat team, oh man, left is the Doki Doki Literature Club guy. And well, I was going to say he's dead from all these containers, but that's not happening for some reason. I'm not sure what was going on there. I guess the chaff got him, and they couldn't retarget in time. He's put up a valiant fight so far. Certainly the MVP on blue team. Obviously there's the this guy. But I don't think without teamwork the railgun Solomon is not a threat at all. They can just be ignored. And Cuban Ball has surrendered. And there goes Napster in the Solomon. And that's the game. Wow, usually people want to go to the final point, even if it's completely hopeless. But these folks have decided to call it. Okay, let's get a good look at that AAR. I'm really curious what that container ship did, because it was such a weird build. Oh, good. More, yeah, plenty of devlog errors. I get those all the time when I'm hosting. I wonder if it's just me or yeah, Doki Doki Literature Club guy did a lot of damage with a small fleet. Full burn. I'm convinced he was on flank that whole way. He was moving so fast. Let's get a look at that container ship, which is on the other team. Not an ANS ship. Where is it? Oh, right. Yeah, 16K on a container ship. That's not good. Actually, I guess it's better than originally anticipated. I forgot that they fixed the overkilling bug, where like good on a container ship is 50K because of how the AAR read your damage numbers. But they fixed that, so 16K. I mean, that's something that adds. It's not amazing. I think the decoy. I respect it. I respect that this is a very strange and alien thing. I don't think it worked out that great. God, how cheap are these? That's so many rocket containers. These have to be cheaper than the normal missiles you can make. I might have to look into using these. That's a lot of containers. Yeah, I'm gonna thank you to Long Con. No, what's your player name? The Video Gamer Dog.
for exposing me to this sort of thinking on the container ships. I really like container ships, and I think they have a lot of potential for some weird plays. And also, just throwing cargo containers at people is really funny in and of itself. So, I like it. I like it. I'm gonna have to revisit my container fleets. Yeah, this guy unfortunately didn't do that much. His ship just got annihilated before it could do really anything. Yeah. Let's see how the rocket brigade do. Or the missile brigade, the type 2s. Nothing. They did nothing. They had one 270 hit. Yeah. That hurts. That is painful. I think I figured out why this guy quit. It's because none of his stuff landed, and he was very unhappy with that, and he left instead of trying to be a distraction. It's so hard to tell how good rails actually do, because their damage numbers are always really low. So I still haven't figured out how to tell if rails are doing well or not. If you have any idea, please let me know. Even if you don't know for sure, if you got some theories, drop them in the comments. That would help me a lot, and it would help the wider community. It's also something you can post on the community Discord. So how to tell how the fuck rails actually do damage. And the 00 solo guy didn't do horribly, which is good. Just good little battlefront ships here. And I think that's everything of note. 25-minute game, not too long. Certainly not the shortest I've ever played or seen. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.